Vimledu, you've
Yes.
been an advocate of the NGT order that end-of-life vehicles be taken off from the Delhi NCR region. Having said that, Vimledu, data doesn't quite seem to suggest that these are the vehicles that are the primary contributor of pollution where Delhi is concerned.
No, to the contrary, Preeti. Actually, data suggests very, very clearly that almost 50% of air pollution contribution in Delhi is because of vehicular, and majority
Vehicular
of that
traffic,
is,
yes.
is
Yeah.
private
But
vehicles.
not end-of-life
50%.
vehicles, yeah.
Of course, but at the end of the day, we also have data to prove that end-of-life vehicles, which primarily means 10-year-old diesel vehicles and 15-year-old petrol vehicles, they actually, if you look at comparison between BS2 and BS6, BS2 is primarily 10-year-old diesel vehicles, there's 16 times more NOx levels emission that we get from BS2 level vehicles. Similarly, if you look at ICCT and several other studies that have been done nationally by the government or internationally, it clearly talks about that there's no comparison between old and new. And there's also no comparison between roadworthy and airworthy. In the air regime that we all are living in, where average air quality index is almost 300, 400, 500 in that sense, we are not looking at some holy certificate that almost like a dead PUC van that gives you, and that becomes like a holy certificate to tell you that your vehicle is fit. Every scientific data. Imagine, by the way, in London, you have to pay 1,800 rupees per day more if your vehicle is older than 10 years. In Singapore, the vehicle gets deregistered if your vehicle is older than 10 years. And imagine the air quality index of a Singapore or a Paris or London and Delhi. And therefore, I think this is stemming out. This entire frustration is coming out of this middle class, affection, nostalgia, love, inconvenience for vehicle. Of course, one day they would like to complain about bad air, but at the same time, they don't want to let go of their BMW and Mercedes. How can an old vehicle with old technology, an old combustion system, old fuel sensors be better than the new ones? And at the end of the day, what is more important? Fine, a middle class aspires to find a vehicle, but also a middle class aspires to live longer and have a asthma free lung in that sense. So it's a question of priority rather than convenience. It's a debate that shouldn't even have happened. Fine, 4 weeks from now, Supreme Court is actually going to take a decision. Hope it's not middle class that prevails over the lungs and the overall, life expectancy that we're talking about. 10 years of life goes. That is government's own admission. Is that more important than the vehicles?
Well, that's a question we can pose to Anumita Roy Choudhary there, but